City Council Committee of Finance will come to order. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit this meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and not deemed acknowledged and permissible. There's one individual that sent in, for citizens input time, sent in a letter. Madam Clerk, will you please read the letter and identify the individual? Oh, I'm sorry. Can we call the roll, please, first?
Councilors Kadim. Dion.
Here.
Kilby.
Here.
La Liberty. Pelletier. Pereira. Reposo.
Here.
Washington. Here. And President Kamara.
Here. Now, Madam Clerk, could you just identify who the individual was that sent in the letter and please read it? This is the only person that sent something. No one signed in for citizens input time.
Yes. Honorable Council, I am writing to express my concern over an elected official holding a job for what appears to be 3 years before applying for special municipal employee status. We see behavior like this all the time. For this school committee member to hold a job in the private sector that is funded with school department funds without the required disclosure is unacceptable. The council should not encourage, support, or endorse such alleged unethical and potentially illegal actions by the school committee member. I would like to suggest that the City Council deny the request for special municipal employee status, as granting it would serve to reward this individual for their alleged improper behavior and action. I know that with the Park Board, at one time, 2 members were supposed to be special municipal employees, and that has never been taken up. I guess corruption is, in its many forms, seems to be running rampant in the city of Fall River, and I would hope that this council stops it in its tracks. Respectfully, C.J. Ferry.
Thank you. Item number 2 in finance, we have a proposed fiscal year 2024 emergency medical service budget. It was referred on 4/11/2023. Could you please come down and see if the councils have any questions? Or should I ask first, are there any questions? Or do you want to refer it to the full body, to the
It might be there, but I'll make a motion to refer it.
motion made to refer to the city council for action and appropriation? Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No questions? Okay, you can have a seat. Thank you. Matter is referred to the full body, city council. Item number 3, Community Development Agency Year 4 Annual Action Plan. It was also referred on April 11, 2023. Do you want to come down, please? Do you want to give us a brief description of what's included in here, just the bullet points, and then if there's any questions, we can go from there? Please, and just identify yourself for the record, please.
Michael Dion, Director of Community Development for the City of Fall River. I got a little just prepared statement here. It's a pleasure to be with you here this evening to submit the Year 4 Annual Action Plan. It must be submitted sometime around May 15th of 2023. The development of this plan was completed using the Citizens Participation Plan. In December, the Citizens Guide and public hearing on needs and proposals and performance was advertised in the Herald News and other media avenues. January 4th, a public hearing was held to discuss the needs and proposals. February 28th, the Year 4 Annual Action Plan Summary was published and a public hearing was held on March 8th. And the public comment period for the plan commenced on February 28th and ended on March 29th. The Year 4 Annual Action Plan strives to meet the 3 objectives of HUD, which is to provide decent, affordable housing, create suitable living environments, and to create economic opportunities. Next year, we will be receiving $2,631,721 in community development block grant funding, $1,164,759 in home investment partnership funding, and $242,767 in emergency solutions grant funding. The program is going to be the program year begins July 1, 2023. The CDBG grant was reduced by over $350,000 over the last 2 years. The CD home program was reduced by $42,000 this year, and the ESG program was reduced by $7,000. The community development will continue to prioritize infrastructure improvements like sidewalk improvements and park improvements, economic development activities, and public service programs like recreational programs, the senior drop-in centers, and the LMI neighborhood policing program. CDA will continue to offer first-time homebuyer loans and homeowner and investment rehabilitation loans and grants. And the Emergency Solution Grant Program will continue to provide funding for our homeless services throughout the city that are taken up by the First Step In, Our Sister's Place, and also Catholic Social Services. I'm here tonight. The Year 4 Annual Action Plan was submitted to each of you councilors on April 4th of 2023, and I'm here this evening to answer any questions you have concerning the plan. The plan that you have in front of you really is basically a continuation of this year. There isn't much change in programs that we're funding at all. I don't even think there is changes.
Council C3, Council Kilby?
Yes, just really quickly, I just want to say thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Councilor.
You've been with the city a long time, and it's a job well done by you, so.
Thank you.
The second thing is you answered the question with regard to the level of funding, which has dropped a little bit, so that was the first question.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with, all the flow of federal money that was going on. But
Yes,
what happened was new entitlement communities came on. So instead of servicing, 1,000 entitlement communities, there might be 1,100 now, so the total pocket's less divided by all those entitlement communities, so.
yeah.
It wasn't really a reduction in funding from the total. It's just more communities are going after the money.
Interesting. And the other question is, your public hearing, was it well attended?
No.
Usually, unfortunately.
In the last couple of years, our public hearings are never attended well. This year, I don't think we had anybody attend our public hearings.
Yeah, it's so important. I remember when we'd have the school department budget, even in the city, we have our public hearings on the city side, and it's really an opportunity for citizens to voice their opinion in terms of what they want to see.
Yeah, we have one more year of the
What they want done.
consolidated plan, and then we'll be going into another 5-year plan where we do a ton of outreach, surveys, all kinds of stuff, so I hope to get more people at the public hearings than what we've had in the past couple of years.
Thanks, Mr. Dion. I yield.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Any further questions? There being no, thank you, Mr. Dion, and
Thank
thank you
you.
also for what you do, you and your
Thanks,
entire
guys.
staff. Thank you. Next, item number 4, transfer and appropriations. Mayor, an order appropriating $253,491.33 from the operating reserve fund to the police salaries. This is a collective bargaining agreement. Are there any questions? No questions?
Motion to refer to full council?
There's no need for that, Counselor. There's no need to refer it.
Okay.
It'll be there. It's already in the full budget. So, other motion I will entertain is a motion to adjourn
Motion to
finance.
adjourn finance?
Motion to adjourn finance is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Finance is now adjourned. Regular city council meeting will begin at 7 o'clock. City Council, please come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilors Kadim? Dion?
Here.
Kilby?
Here?
La Liberty? Pelletier? Pereira?
Here.
Reposo?
Here.
Washington?
Here.
President Kamara.
Here. Before we begin, I just wanted to mention that Council Kadim, Council Liberty, and Council Pelletier, one has a prior commitment and the other two aren't feeling well, so they won't be attending tonight's meeting. Will everyone in the council chair please rise for a moment of silent prayer? Please remain standing for a salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council President, may we have a moment of silence for your mother?
We
Please.
could, Council, we did at the last meeting.
Oh, do it again. You're a wonderful lady.
Thank you, Councilor. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit this meeting to any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and not deemed acknowledged and permissible. Madam Clerk?
The first item before you is a communication from the mayor. This is the proposal for Bristol County ARPA funding in the amount of $50,000 for the Veterans Kitchen of Fall River, which was also sponsored by Councilor Washington. We would need a motion to lift this item.
Motion to lift from the table?
Motion
Second.
to lift the table has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt?
Any opposed? Motion, the item is now lifted.
Motion to adopt?
Motion to
Second.
adopt is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2 is the mayor's communication in an order to accept and expend the Mass Call 3 Substance Misuse Prevention Grant from the Mass Department of Public Health in the revised amount of $875,000.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt has been made and seconded. On the motion, Council C2, you all set? Okay. The correct motion be accept the communication, place it on file, and adopt the order. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk?
Item number 3 is the mayor's communication in an order to accept and expend a grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Clean School Bus Rebate Program in the amount of $3,860,000.
Motion to accept the grant? Oh, a motion, there'd be a motion to amend, I believe. We have an increase in that. It's my understanding. We have a $2 million increase.
The motion would be to amend to $2 million increase.
Yes, please.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Motion to adopt is amended?
Motion to adopt the order as amended.
Second.
To accept the communication, place it on file, and adopt as amended has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 4 is a communication from the mayor in an order appropriating $1,771,608 from the Community Preservation Act funds for the fiscal year 2024 community projects.
Motion to adopt the order.
Second?
Motion to accept, place on file, and adopt the order has been made and seconded. All in favor?
The question.
On the question, Council seat
Yep.
7, Council Reposo.
If we could just have the representative from CPC just give a brief explanation on it for the public's understanding and knowledge.
Sure. You could also refer this to the Finance Committee for discussion if you like, Councilor.
I don't think it needs discussion. I think
Okay.
it's more just a presentation.
Could you come down, please? First of all, I need a motion to waive the rules. Have them
Motion to
come
waive
down.
the rules?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's where you go.
Mr. Brandt, could you just identify yourselves, please? Name and addresses for the record so we'll know.
Sure. John Brandt, CPC Chairman, 116 Rock Street, Fall River.
Alexander Silva, CPC member / clerk, 148 Purchase Street. Thanks for calling us down. Our committee works all year putting this stuff together, so sometimes it's nice to let the public know what we voted on too. Some of the good projects we had this year was the land acquisition at Adirondack Farms, which is 14 acres altogether. And then they're gonna have 3 houses. One, they're gonna be used for AMC Rail Trail. They'll meet there. They're gonna have training for kids, wildlife, all that. So that's a nice addition. And they actually came in with quite a bit of money, and our end was $141,934. Then some other local projects. We do have the St. John's Baptist up here, the church. We're doing mostly just outside renovations there to that old church, which will really add to preserving it. We have the Greater Art Association up here. We're doing a handicap for them, where the public can get in and see the artwork and all of that. And we do have one nice project is the Watuppa Rowing Center, which just got done talking to the gentleman. They had their first scholarship. The lady's going to be going to BC for rowing. So I thought, wow, that's pretty nice. And we funded that for 6 lanes. They're going to be, it's free for kids to go learn, row. So I think that's a nice addition. That was $135,000. Then on the city side, which helps out, is the North Watuppa Pond seawall. It's a condition assessment, but it's in sad shape, and it is our water supply. But having the study done will enable the water department to go out for federal grants, that kind of stuff. So it's the beginning stages of getting more money for Fall River. Those are our highlights. We're finished up the Dr. Fisk house this round, so the whole house there, the Underground Railroad, will be finished. And the rest, if you have any questions, or?
Council C3, Council Kilby?
Yeah, just more of a comment, I guess. It's probably one of the nicest things that the voters approved in this community, and just listening to these projects, I think it's, the deliberation was done by your committee, and we had a conversation, John, Mr. Brandt, earlier.
Yeah.
Not many people realize that the South Watuppa Pond is the 3rd or 4th largest lake in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And the seawall, is that at the Narrows, or is it at the North Watuppa Pond near the ice house?
It's all of the seawalls in North Watuppa Pond. I believe it's
that's-
4
that's-
separate sites, including
Yeah.
the Narrows and by the ice house.
That's good to hear. Okay, thank you. Are you?
Thank you, Council. Council C2, Council Dion?
Yeah, I just have one question. In terms of the water department and future funding, what types of funding can they look for that they wouldn't be able to look for without this?
Well, I guess without the study, they wouldn't have the scope of work needed. So this kind of like narrows it down, so it gives them a hand up when they, I guess, gotta put in bids. That part we don't get into, but they did say that it would greatly, because to us, this went back to when we did the Quickersham Rail Trail. We needed a study done before the federal government would finish the project. So this kind of plays in the same
In a similar
route.
vein?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
There aren't
That
as-
I yield. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Sorry, there aren't as many funding sources for things like conditions, assessments, as there are for the actual, work.
Right, right. Thank you. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Council. Council C6, Council Vice President Pereira?
Yeah, I really don't have any questions. I often talk with Mr. Brandt, so I kind of know some of what's going on and what things that they're working on, or with Sandy Dennis as well. I just want to commend you. I think that committee does a great job with even taking out money and paying it little by little every year. And, that you have to spend so much on outdoor projects and historic projects that it's divided. I just think you run a really good program. I'm excited with the Row Center because there are opportunities for scholarships for
Yeah.
many children. What disappoints me is that there's not a lot of youth in Fall River, and I don't know how to get the word out. I know that Kim has tried contacting different schools and getting them going, but since you're down here, just for people at home to know, it's for free.
Yeah.
The whole program is for free,
Yeah.
and it is so beneficial. It teaches kids teamwork and, you know, gets them out, and the opportunities are limitless. And not everybody, you know, everybody has different knacks for different sports, so there might be lots of children out there who would like to get out on the water and learn how to row. And so I would hope that they would push that a little bit more, get kids to know what it's about. It's kind of a hidden treasure in Fall River.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we're doing these lanes. When they had their regatta here last summer, the summer before, there had to be thousands of people who showed up and lined all around the Watuppa to watch the regatta races. People were all over the picnic area, they were cooking, it was really good to see.
Yeah.
So, but kudos to you and to the entire committee. I never thought it would get this far from my first meeting several years ago with Al Lima, God rest his soul, at his house to talk about CPA and how we were missing out on that, where other communities were taking the money and we weren't getting any.
Yeah.
So he always had good ideas. The rail trail, I miss him, but thank you for all the work that you do.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I mean, I can't
that
say
I
enough
do.
about my committee. I mean, we're well-rounded.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at a project, and we want to make sure it benefits the citizens of Fall River, because they're paying for this.
Right.
And so are we, because we pay taxes too. So we don't want to misuse the money. We want to make sure it goes back into the public. I mean, we're putting kids down in the bioreserve now. They can be on the water. So it's expanding.
And I think the good thing is that people working together can accomplish so much more. With everything that was done with the trails up in the reservation, the Bristol County, the Joe Marshall Vet Center, they've adopted a portion of that
Yeah.
to maintain that. And so they're, you know, working together, that has come out to be a really great project. Some of the work that you've done with other historical buildings like the Armory, repairing the roof, part of it, repairing the chimney, that was all CPA money, so,
Yeah.
thank you. With that, I yield, Mr. President.
There you go. So, Mr. Barrett, I also want to thank you and your committee for what you do.
Thank you.
That road program, not only is it free, but you provide all the life vests and all the safety equipment as well, correct?
I didn't hear.
Yes.
I'm sure you do, because we're not going to put kids in a boat without having life vests.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
just got
They don't have to
denied,
bring
yes,
their own
yes.
life vests.
All safety is there, yes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's accurate so people don't have to make any investment at all. And it's a great program. I was there when they first had the initiation
Yeah.
a few years back, and it was really remarkable. And there are a lot of schools that are picking it up now. Even more high schools are picking up rowing more and more. So maybe we should start a little slogan to the elementary schools: row, row, row your boat.
Yeah.
And let them know that they can do it in the South Watuppa Pond. Thank you for coming down.
Thanks.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk?
Item 5 is a communication from the mayor and a resolution authorizing submission of the Community Development Agency's Year 4 Annual Action Plan.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion has been made to accept the communication, place on file, and adopt the order, and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have the FY '23 Quarter 3 Budget Report.
Refer to Committee on Finance.
Second.
Motion is made to refer to Committee on Finance and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 3 is the disclosure by Special Municipal Employee Mimi Larrabee.
Motion to
What is the
approve.
appropriate motion to approve? Is that
Would be
Yes.
to
motion?
authorize, to
Motion
approve.
to
the
approve.
Motion to
budget.
approve and authorize this,
Motion has been made. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes.
before we move on, I know that there was a citizen input that referred to Ms. Larrabee being on the school committee for 3 years and only now coming through with the disclosure and corruption or what have you. Sometimes I wish that people would get all of the information, and unfortunately, I think that somehow misses people sometimes. But the reason that this is being requested is because Ms. Larrabee has a new job. And that's why it's being, her former job for 30-plus years at the Boys and Girls Club wouldn't have impacted this at all. But this is a new position where she supervises people who are at a certain program in the city. That's why a disclosure is done, and I think that shows transparency, not corruption, transparency. You file disclosures, you call the Ethics Commission. I've done it myself because my daughter serves on the school committee. I've had to put in disclosure. I've talked to the Ethics Commission because you want to make sure you're being transparent. So I congratulate her for being transparent and filing a disclosure. Just wanted to put that out there, because sometimes I think they think we do things underhanded, and we really don't.
I agree with
And it
Council.
sometimes it gets frustrating.
And I had a discussion with Ms. Larrabee, and just for the record, I want to make sure it's perfectly clear that she has not held this position for the last 3 years, as stated in the letter that was sent to the council. She began this job in March of this year, which is a little over a month ago. So thank you for clarifying that, Councilor, because it's right. Sometimes it's unfortunate, but people who believe certain things want to say things, and the information isn't always accurate. But at the end of the day, people know the truth, and thanks to you, the truth is being known now that she has not worked there for the past 3 years. She started this job back in March, and now we're in April, just a month ago. Good job, Council.
Thank you.
Madam
With that, I
Clerk?
yield.
Whereas within the Code of the City of Fall River, Chapter 70, Section 319, there's a standing ordinance regarding the restriction of all-night parking of commercial vehicles that weigh over 2 tons or more to no longer than 1 hour between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. of any day or any time on Sunday, except that such vehicle or trailer may be parked for periods in excess of this restriction while actually being loaded or unloaded. And whereas there have been numerous complaints from residents that many commercial vehicles have been utilizing public streets for overnight parking, and whereas this ordinance violation affects the quality of life of residents as well as the ability for emergency vehicles to safely travel on streets overnight, now therefore be it resolved that the Committee on Ordinances and Legislation convene with the police chief to discuss enforcement and/or necessary amendments to this existing ordinance.
Motion to refer to ordinances.
Motion has been made to refer
Second.
to Committee on Ordinance and Legislation. Motion has been made and seconded. On the motion, sponsor of the resolution, Council in seat 6, Council Vice President Perez.
I think it going to the ordinance committee is what I requested, because if we have ordinances on the books but we're not enforcing them, why have them? And I've gotten several complaints from people. Parking around the city is pretty tight with, today, one family, mom might have a car, dad might have a car, kids have a car. Years ago, that wasn't the case, but people are having difficulty parking, and there's a lot of these business trucks that are not supposed to be, a lot of these commercial vehicles are not supposed to be around. So I think, and I know that there's issues in the police department with being short-staffed, but maybe it needs to be brought to the chief's attention.
Yeah,
That I
would
yield.
you yield, Councilor?
I do.
I would just caution the Committee on Ordinance that 2 tons, some of the regular-sized pickup trucks, like an F-350 is, I believe, beyond 2 tons in weight, and you're going to be taking a lot more cars with commercial plates off the streets where they're really not as big as these other vehicles that I think you're talking about.
It's big vehicles or,
Yeah, so let's try to get the tonnage right,
well,
because...
and that way they would know in ordinance
you
to
understand-
figure
yeah,
that out.
I agree, Councilor. We certainly want to take a pickup truck that just has a
No,
bigger size
pickup
motor.
truck that with a
and
commercial
bigger-
plate can be there.
And it's a heavier load capacity off the streets if it's, because that's commercial plates.
Yeah.
But I agree with you with the bigger trucks, absolutely. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Whereas the Bank Street Armory, also known as the Municipal Veterans Memorial, was built in 1897 and was transferred from the Commonwealth to the City of Fall River in 1976. And whereas this structure has provided benefits to the community, such as being a functional supplemental military armory, and later redeveloped as the former location of the Greater Fall River Recreation Organization, and whereas this building has fallen into drastic disrepair and needs a significant amount of restoration in order to return it to its former glory, and whereas there have been numerous residents and business owners who have expressed concern regarding the future of the Bank Street Armory, now therefore be it resolved that the Committee on Real Estate convene with representatives from the administration to discuss the revitalization of this prominent historic location.
Refer to the Committee on Real Estate.
Motion to refer to Committee on Real Estate has been made
Second.
and seconded. On the motion for the Committee on Real Estate, Council in seat 6, Council Vice President Perez, sponsor of the resolution.
I put this in because honestly, what I'm hearing from the community at large, they do not want the bank armory to be sold. There are deed restrictions on here. There was a whole study done on what needs to be fixed there. That happened as well. The chimney was one of the issues. That has been repaired. The roof was another addition. part of that roof has been repaired. There's certain things that need to be fixed right now, and there's other things that can be fixed at a later date. The city of Fall River has a habit of selling everything. Imagine if we had the Durfee Theater, it would make the Zeiterion Theater look like nothing compared to what we had. Why do we constantly get rid of things? You have all this opera money, you know, part of it can be used for something like this. I think we need to put our heads together and do something. You need a location for youth. That place could make you money renting it out. The veterans could have a home again. They could have their quarters there like it was. Just selling off things, I really feel that if you polled the community, you'd see that more people want to keep it. I don't know if people have looked at Facebook, have gotten calls from other people, as I have, but I think this is worth looking into. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Council. Council C2, Council Dion.
Yeah, I agree with everything Counselor in seat 6 just said. I think the problem is this. It was 2.5 years ago that this council transferred ownership of the Armory to the RDA. The RDA owns the Armory at this point in time. However, there was a timeline associated with it. It was supposed to be purchased by a gentleman who does event centers. He was supposed to purchase it in a timely manner. The purchase and sales agreement was supposed to be within, say, 6 months. I don't remember the timelines. I do know there were timelines for everything. There was a reverter clause in that we've never called in on. So at this point, I don't know who it should go to put that reverter clause into effect, to take it back, because we can. It's just we've sat here, I mean, we should have acted on this like a year and a half ago, and unfortunately, all this time has gone by when the city could have taken it back, the city could have done something with it, the city could have moved forward, and one more time, didn't. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Council. Council seat 6, Council Vice President Pereira.
Well, my colleague in seat number 2 is partially correct. It was transferred to the RDA. The RDA was meeting with the gentleman who was going to have it as a civic event place, a location. However, with that person procrastinating, the RDA never, ever took it over. We should have been made aware of that from the administration or someone, that the RDA never took ownership of it. That was never signed, so it didn't.
So we transferred it, but they never took ownership of it?
That's right. And I believe that Ms. Valcourt has the paperwork that was on that. We had researched on when the RDA had taken it. When we had ordered it transferred it to the RDA, but then I spoke to Sarah from the RDA, and she explained that they never took it because the man was not meeting with them or whatever, so they never took ownership of it. So it really still belongs to the city.
Well, your real estate committee meeting will clarify those things, I'm sure.
Yes.
Council
Yeah.
seat 2, Council Dion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're right in that, and I'm not arguing the point, but part of the reason that they had to have ownership was they were changing the designation of that armory so that, and I can't, I don't remember what it was, that they were changing the designation. I'll have to go back and pull the packet from back then. And the only way that they could do that and do that through the state was for them to have ownership of it. So there's something awry here. There's no doubt. There's something awry that we need to get to the bottom of. Because I agree, the best thing is to take it back and let the city make something of it. But obvious something somewhere. And I don't know if we would make a motion to waive the rules, if the city administrator can help us on
Council, if
this.
that's going to go, the motion, sponsor the resolution, we send it to
It'll go
real
to real
estate, and we can have our debate there. The resolution.
I just didn't know if he knew where the ownership lies. I don't know. There's definitely something awry, but
I would make-
I will yield.
I will make a suggestion. I have the paperwork at home that I had received of when it was transferred. I can certainly email that to you, get that to you for you to see. But I would encourage you to call Sarah Page, who runs, is the clerk for the redevelopment authority, and she will tell you. I also had a conversation with Mr. Marshall about it, but he was no longer on the committee. ended up giving up that position and I guess spending more time on the golf course. God love him, he's,
Oh, good for him.
but, yeah, yeah, they ended up not taking it for whatever
That's
for
weird.
whatever reason,
All right.
so.
Motion
That I
has
do.
been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk?
You have the police chief's report on licenses?
Is she?
Motion so made.
Second,
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Have a number of claims.
Motion to refer to Corporation Council.
Motion to refer to Corporation Council has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Items 12, A, B, and C are the Attorney General's responses to 3 open meeting law complaints.
Motion to accept and place on file.
Motion to accept and place on file has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 13 is an order asking that the city engineer prepare plans for the acceptance of Marrier Street from North Main Street to a dead end.
Motion to refer to planning?
Motion to refer to planning board has been made and seconded. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 14 is an application for a structure on or over a public way on behalf of Salon 812. This is for a lemonade stand.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion so made?
Motion to approve has been made and is there a second? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 15 is a letter from David D'Souza of Hood Street regarding trash, parking concerns, and suspicious activities at Cardinal Maderas Towers.
Motion to adopt and place on file, and also a copy of the letter to Chief Goffin, please.
Motion to accept and place on file has been made and send a letter to Chief Corvin
Second.
and seconded. On the motion, Council 6-6, you have your hand up?
We did receive an email from Mr. D'Souza, we've been in communication. Mr. Spadella did meet with Mr. D'Souza and has worked with the chief to address some of the concerns there, but Mr. Spadella did physically go over and meet with Mr. D'Souza, and I was pretty impressed with that. You know, if somebody has a concern, Mr. Spadella seems to be right on top of it, and the housing board, so kudos to them. With that, I yield.
Glad that's getting resolved.
Huh?
I'm glad that's getting resolved.
Yeah, it is, it's getting resolved.
Well, it's a waste of paper for the letter then, so, but,
Whatever you want, Councilor.
yeah.
Be an
Motion-
email.
Do you withdraw your motion to
I'll
send it to
leave,
the
no,
chief?
we'll leave it like it is,
All
please.
right, motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 16 is an anonymous letter that we received regarding taxi cab companies.
Motion to refer to Committee on Regulations.
Second.
Motion for the Committee on Regulations has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have a problem.
Item 17 are applications for drain layer licenses.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve the drain layers license has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have minutes of the February 8th Planning Board
Motion to
meeting.
Motion to
approve.
take 18 and 19 together?
Second.
Second.
Motion has been made to take items 18 and 19 together and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, is there a motion for action? to
Accept and place on
accept and
file 18 and 19.
18 and 19 has been made
Second.
by Council Perez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 20 are minutes of the joint meeting with the school committee, which was held on April 11th.
Motion to
Motion.
approve.
Motion to take 20 through 23 together?
Second.
Motion has been made to take items 20 through 23 and together has been made. Is there a second? And
Second.
seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 20 to 20
Motion to approve.
through 23 has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The Committee on Finance, at a meeting held on April 25th, voted unanimously to recommend the accompanying appropriation order be referred to the full council for action, with Councilors Kadim, La Liberty, Pelletier, and Pereira absent and not voting. This was the EMS FY24 appropriation order.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And we have the communication from the mayor and an order appropriating $253,491.33 from the operating reserve fund to the police salaries.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion would be accept communication placed on file and adopt the order has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have a second police chief's report on licenses for applications that came in after the deadline. So it would be another order, a chief's report on licenses.
What are the,
Item number 10A,
10A?
Yeah.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
motion to adopt has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have an application for a structure on or over a public way on behalf of Poyant Signs for a freestanding sign on Pleasant Street.
1052.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And we have a thank you letter from President Kamara and his family.
Motion to accept and place on file. Second.
Motion accepted and placed on file is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I just want to say, I want to thank my colleagues for the beautiful flowers you sent, and thank you for your very kind words, all of your thoughts and prayers on my family's behalf. We thank you very, very much. All the residents as well, and the community and the city administration and everyone in the building that showed up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? City council meeting is now adjourned.